Hello and welcome to the bakingmad.com kitchen. I'm going to show you how to make puff pastry. Puff pastry is a labour of love, but it's actually something I really like doing. When you've got the time, there's nothing better than homemade puff pastry. So I've got 30 grams of lard in my bowl. I'm going to add 275 grams of Anson's plain flour. Couple of pinches of salt, unless you want a sweet pastry and you're using slightly salted butter, then you don't have to put the salt in. And then you just rub in the lard. What you're doing basically is you're making a paste first of all, and then you're layering up cold butter between all the sheets of puff pastry to make thousands of layers. So once you've got lovely fine breadcrumbs, we're going to add the water. Obviously you can do this in a food processor, which makes it much easier and quicker. And then we're going to add, first of all, add about 6 tablespoonfuls of cold water. Run the tap to get the water as cold as you can. And just mix that in. And then you'll add extra water, as much as you need, up to about 9 tablespoonfuls. It depends really on the absorbency of your flour. So that's beginning to come together, but I can feel that we need a little bit more water. Just to make these bits come together as well. Okay, so we'll just turn that out, knead it a couple of times until it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to wrap it in clingfilm and chill it for about 30 minutes. And that allows the moisture in the flour, the moisture from the water to distribute evenly in the flour and make a nice, smooth, malleable paste. Just roll it into a rectangle, rough rectangle, and we'll pop that in the fridge for half an hour just to relax. The next step is to get your butter ready. So I've got 140 grams of butter. I'm just going to wrap that in cling film as well, and you're just going to pat that out into a nice rectangle as well. So we've got our paste, which is chilled, and I'm going to roll that, just a little bit of flour on the worktop. Now, each corner push and roll away from you. Make sure you've got enough flour on the worktop, not too much. And what you're doing is leaving the centre quite fat. So then you can turn it to make a square or a rectangle. Keep turning the pastry rather than turning the rolling pin. You get this nice and thin. Okay, try and get it into a nice even shape, a nice thick wad of dough in the middle, and then you put your butter on top. Okay, then fold the 4 corners over. You basically want to make sure that the butter is completely enclosed, otherwise it's all going to ooze out when you roll it. So a nice square. Squish it down with the rolling pin a couple of times till you get a rectangle. And then turn it quarter turn, turn it over, and roll it into a rectangle. Now with puff pastry you're basically rolling and folding 6 times. Try and keep it into a good shape as much as possible, because then it's just much easier to handle if you keep that shape neat all the time. Just neaten it up. And what you're doing is you're folding it in 3 like a business letter. So you fold that portion over, get rid of too much flour, and you can see that the butter there is beginning to poke through. And then fold it again. And that's your first fold. Squish it down to seal it. And we'll mark that as number 1 with my finger. That's got to go in the fridge and chill for at least 10 minutes until that butter's hardened up. Otherwise you'll find that the butter will just slide all over the place and you won't get nice even layers. So put that in the fridge until it's chilled and then you can roll it out again. But I'm just going to make very simple palmiers. So you roll out your pastry really thinly. And never stretch the pastry this way and that way. Always roll in one direction. And always make sure you've got plenty of flour. Try not to stretch the pastry underneath, just to keep it moving. So roll it nice and thinly. And then sprinkle thickly with granulated sugar. And roll it up. But it's the classic French palmier. So you make a tight roll like that, and then you need to chill that again till it's really cold, and then slice it thinly, put it on a baking tray and bake it. So there we are, there's our finished palmiers, and just sprinkle them with a little bit more sugar. Nice and crunchy, nice and flaky. Great to serve with ice cream, as a dessert, as a little petit four, or just with a nice cup of coffee.